Speak, memory, of the cunning hero, the wanderer blown off course time and again after he plundered Troy's sacred heights. Speak of all the cities he saw, the mines he grasped, the suffering deep in his heart at sea as he struggled to survive and bring his men home, but could not save them, hard as he tried. The fools, destroyed by their own recklessness when they ate the oxen of Hyperion the sun, and that god snuffed out their day of return. Of these things speak, immortal one, and tell the tale once more in our time. It has been many years since the fall of Troy, and Odysseus has not yet returned home. He is not dead, however, just stymied by the will of the gods, his crew, and his own propensity to adventure. The Odyssey, a much richer poem than the Iliad, but not as dramatic, opens with the immortals. It was Poseidon, chiefly, who was opposed to Odysseus coming home, but now he is with the Ethiopians, far from Olympus. And Zeus is complaining about the stupidity of mortal men. Mortals, they are always blaming the gods for their troubles, when their own witlessness causes them more than they were destined for. Take Aegisthus now. He marries Agamemnon's lawful wife, and murders the man on his return, knowing it meant disaster, because we did warn him, sent our messenger, Quicksilver Hermes, to tell him not to kill the man and marry his wife. Or Agamemnon's son, Orestes, would pay him back when he came of age and wanted his inheritance. Hermes told him all that, but his good advice meant nothing to Aegisthus. Now he's paid in full. Athena responds, glaring at her father. Yes, O our Father, who art most high, that man got the death he richly deserved, and so perish all who would do the same. But it's Odysseus I'm worried about, that discerning, ill-fated man. He suffered so long, separated from his dear ones, on an island that lies in the center of the sea, a wooded isle that is home to a goddess, the daughter of Atlas, whose dread mind knows all the depths of the sea, and who supports the tall pillars that keep earth and heaven apart. His daughter detains the poor man in his grief, sweet-talking him constantly, trying to charm him into forgetting Ithaca. But Odysseus, longing to see even the smoke curling up from his land, simply wants to die. And yet you never think of him, Olympian. Didn't Odysseus please you with sacrifices beside the Greek ships at Troy? Why is Odysseus so odious, Zeus? Zeus explains that Odysseus is a remarkable mortal man whose mind and sacrifices are unlike those of any other human. But Poseidon is full of anger because Odysseus blinded his son, Polyphemus the Cyclops. So Poseidon has not destroyed Odysseus, but he keeps the man from returning home. However, Zeus says, it is time for Poseidon to put aside his anger, and time for the immortals to bring Odysseus home. Athena responds and says that they should send Hermes to Ogygia, where Odysseus is kept by Calypso, to tell her that he must be allowed to return home. Athena volunteers herself to go to Ithaca to speak with Telemachus, the son of Odysseus, who has now just come of age and must be able to act and speak against the suitors who are feasting at Odysseus' palace and waiting for Penelope to pick a new husband. So Athena flies down from Olympus to Ithaca and comes to stand right outside the palace of Odysseus. The goddess takes on the form and voice of Mentes, the Taphian captain. She gazes upon the suitors, who are playing dice in the courtyard, drinking wine and eating meat. The first to see the goddess is the young Telemachus, who goes to her quickly, upset that a guest has not been taken care of right away. Telemachus takes Athena into his halls and sits her down at a table where they will not be bothered by the suitors. He has the servants provide the appropriate accommodations for his unnamed guest, water to wash hands, bread and meat to eat, and wine to drink. He does not yet understand that he has a goddess within the halls of his father. Then the suitors come inside, arrogant and falsely swaggering. The bard Phemius starts playing a song for the suitors and singing. Telemachus leans towards Athena so that no one will hear him, and says to her, "Please don't take offense if I speak my mind. It's easy for them to enjoy the harper's song, since they are eating another man's stores without paying anything, the stores of a man whose white bones lie rotting in the rain on some distant shore, or still churn in the waves. If they ever saw him make landing on Ithaca, they would pray for more foot speed instead of more gold or fancy clothes. But he's met a bad end, and it's no comfort to us when some traveler tells us he's on his way home. The day has long passed when he's coming home. But tell me this, and tell me the truth. Who are you, and where do you come from? Who are your parents? What kind of ship brought you here? How did your sailors guide you to Ithaca? And how large is your crew? I don't imagine you came here on foot. And tell me this, too. I'd like to know, is this your first visit here? Or are you an old friend of my father's, one of the many who have come to our house over the years?" And Athena, disguised as a mortal man, says to him, "I'll tell you nothing but the unvarnished truth. I am Mentes, son of Anchialus, and proud of it. I am also a captain of the seafaring Taphians. I just pulled in with my ship and my crew, sailing the deep purple to foreign ports. We're on our way to Cyprus with a cargo of iron to trade for copper. My ship is standing offshore of wild country away from the city, in Rhaethron harbor under Neon's woods. You and I have ties of hospitality, just as our fathers did, from a long way back. Go and ask old Laertes. They say he never comes to town anymore, lives out in the country, a hard life with just an old woman to help him. She gets him his food and drink when he comes in from the fields, all worn out from trudging across the ridge of his vineyard plot. I have come because they say your father has returned, but now I see the gods have knocked him off course. He's not dead, though, not godlike Odysseus, no way in the world. No, he's alive all right. It's the sea keeps him back, detained on some island in the middle of the sea, held captive by savages. And now I will prophesy for you, as the gods put it in my heart, and as I think it will be, though I am no soothsayer or reader of birds. Odysseus will not be gone much longer from his native land, not even if iron chains hold him. He knows every trick there is, and will think of some way to come home. But now tell me this, and I want the truth. Tall as you are you Odysseus' son? You bear a striking resemblance to him, especially in the head and those beautiful eyes. We used to spend quite a bit of time together before he sailed for Troy with the Argive fleet. Since then, we haven't seen each other at all." Telemachus tells Athena that he is the son of Odysseus, and he laments the fate of his father and himself. Athena asks Telemachus what the occasion is for the feasting and partying that is happening in his father's house. She comments that the behavior is outrageous. Telemachus tells the goddess that since his father has not returned home, all the young nobles from the surrounding area have come to Ithaca to marry Penelope, but she refuses to marry any of them. She refuses to make a marriage she hates, but can't stop it either. They are eating us out of house and home, and will kill me some day. Athena tells Telemachus that Odysseus would deal with the suitors in an absolute way if he were there. She urges him to become the man that he must be and find a way to get the suitors out of the house. Athena tells him to call an assembly and order the suitors to leave. Then, she advises, he should take a ship to Pylos to ask Nestor what news he has heard about Odysseus, and then go to Sparta and consult Menelaus. Athena reminds him of Orestes, the son of Agamemnon, and how he avenged his father's murder, tells him to be like Orestes, to be a man. Telemachus thanks the goddess and asks her to bathe and relax and to take a gift, but Athena refuses and disappears. At this, Telemachus knows that he was in the presence of an immortal. Penelope comes down from her room and tells the singer Phemius to play a more happy song, for he is singing about the hard travels home that the Greeks suffered, but Telemachus rebukes his mother. "Mother, why begrudge our singer, entertaining us as he thinks best? Singers are not responsible. Zeus is, who gives what he wants to every man on earth. No one can blame Phemius for singing the doom of the Danaans. It's always the newest song an audience praises most. For yourself, you'll just have to endure it and listen. Odysseus was not the only man at Troy who didn't come home. Many others perished. You should go back upstairs and take care of your work, spinning and weaving, and have the maids do theirs. Speaking is for men, for all men, but for me especially, since I am the master of this house." Telemachus is now starting to speak like a man. Penelope is stunned at her son's words and goes back up to her room, cries for her lost husband, Odysseus. In the halls of the house of Odysseus, the suitors return to their uproar and debauchery, but Telemachus cuts them off. "Suitors of my mother, you arrogant pigs, for now we're at a feast. No shouting, please. There's nothing finer than hearing a singer like this, with a voice like a god's. But in the morning we will sit in the meeting room, so I can tell you all, in broad daylight, to get out of my house. Fix yourself feasts in each other's houses. Use up your own stockpiles. But if it seems better and more profitable for one man to be eaten out of house and home without compensation, then eat away. For my part, I will pray to the gods eternal that Zeus grant me requital, death for you here in my house, with no compensation." The suitors and Telemachus go back and forth. Some are more kind to him, but they all do evil. The suitors continue their party until it is time to go, and Telemachus goes to bed, wrapped in fleece, and thinking about the words that Athena had spoken to him.